so we're starting off by saying welcome to Koicast.
Oh yeah, I like that. Welcome to Koicast.
Welcome to the Koicast.
And this is breaking down creatives. I mean, yeah, technically, breaking down creatives could be like a part of one of the sections that we're gonna do because I mean, this is
Yeah.
a podcast by the band Koithegreat. My name is Franco Torres. I'm one of the guitar players. Then we have the other guys.
I'm Pete, bass player. Choo!
And I'm Robert, the singer.
I am Manuel Ate, as they call me. I am the drummer or the
The so-called drummer.
So cold.
What?
The so-called drummer.
No.
Self-proclaimed
no.
He's
drummer.
the bodyguard.
the
bodyguard.
yeah,
He's the
bodyguard. So
So if you see
yeah.
the pictures, he's the one on the right or in the far left, depending on the picture, and he looks like the bodyguard of the band. So, and we're missing one member today, which is AJ. He's the other guitar player, the one with the beautiful hair.
Which
if you
happens
see
to be
the-
his
beautiful
birthday
face.
today. It was his
Yeah, he's-
birthday today.
And it's his birthday today, so happy birthday, AJ.
Happy
from
birthday, AJ. I
your
love you, Poppy.
Koithegreat.band. We love you. Today is February 3, and I mean this is not gonna come out today, but I mean, why not? You know?
But we're
I
being
mean,
recorded
You're
as
still gonna
of
see it.
the 3rd.
We're recording it today, February 3.
Yes.
So, I mean, I intentionally, my idea to what I wanted this podcast to be was us talking a little bit about, more of the process and kind of behind the scenes of what being in a band actually is and what being in a band actually consists of. Because, I mean, I feel like there's a lot of misconceptions to what a band is and how being in the band kind of turns out now in 2020, like at least here
especially
in Puerto Rico.
managing
Yeah.
the band and all the marketing and all the
Yeah.
all
So,
that behind the curtain things.
Yeah. So that's sort of what I wanted, like, kind of to start off with this. I mean, we've all been here in a few different bands, and we're gonna get to that a little bit later, talking a little bit about how we met each other and whatnot. But I mean, one of the things that I kind of inspired me, and I mean, us to bring this idea of kind of making this podcast for you guys is to kind of understand a little bit more of the real world of what being in a band actually is and about trying to actually make it is because I mean at least here in Puerto Rico, if you're here from Puerto Rico, I think that there's this sort of misconception where a lot of other kids or other adults that start bands think that if they make a band and then someone sees them at one show, they're gonna like be the next big thing or whatnot, and that
Okay.
doesn't work like that anymore. We're not in the 70s anymore, so we're not in a really different world now. And of course, us working a little bit more on the marketing, at least for
The
my
industry has evolved, Nowadays, musicians are broke, okay?
part. See, I mean,
Now
that's-
we struggle, okay? I mean, they
That-
struggled before because, they worked their ass off for, pardon my French. They worked for this stuff, But, yeah, it's way different now.
So I mean,
I never lived in
I-
the 70s.
I sort of agree with that, which is something that I do want to talk about because I mean it's interesting that you bring that up because I think it's the other way around. Like I do know that being and making a band is of course gonna make you go broke in a matter of nothing. Like
Very
there's this,
easily.
oh yeah, dude. But there's this old joke that I honestly kind of always love, but I mean it hurts deep inside about how do you want to make $1 million in a band in the music industry? Oh, you start with $10 million, and then you end up with $1 million because you're gonna lose it all. So I mean that's sort of true, but I think that there's still misconceptions to that because I do kind of think that making a band and being in a band. You can actually be making some sort of money out of different revenues. You just have to have a bunch of different revenue streams, like every sort of modern business now.
Yeah,
'Cause I mean,
having a band is like it's not like, it's literally an investment. It takes a lot of money to move things and the marketing and all that stuff. So you can get to places and people can hear your music where you want them to, and where you have your market, and the people that will like your music. So yeah, it takes a lot of money, a lot of research, a lot of
Hmm.
time. Um, so yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely something to do. Like if you're into the like the business side of things like we are, you're never gonna get bored and not do something. Like there's always something to do in this whole music industry aspects. Uh, I've found endless nights just staring at the computer screen reading about different stuff, and I mean I know that
Hmm.
you guys are. I have at least been in this process with me in this band. I mean we've been doing this for around how many
Years.
months have we? See, I mean, yeah,
I
years,
mean,
but like Koi the Great, we actually started last year. So we started at around, I would say, summer. I think it's when we got together for the first time to
Was it
start.
really summer?
I
was it
think
summer?
so. I'm not sure.
Maybe a
I'm not
little
a
bit later, but
little bit later, but I mean,
I
this is
mean,
something that I had
August.
been. Yeah.
I don't
So
remember me being around so soon. Well, at least me. I don't remember.
I mean, so okay, so I started like
I don't know.
my brainchild, which I like to call this,
Brainchild.
during the first part of when the pandemic started, so around March, April,
Yeah.
I started to like talk about this whole band thing with AJ and Ate, and then Pete and Robert came along at around August because I mean we wanted a singer and we wanted a bassist, and in around August they got into the band and whatnot. But I mean we've known each other, which we're gonna talk a little bit about them. So I mean I've known these guys for a long time. I've known Ate for almost 8 9 years, and then I've known
Yeah.
Pete and Robert for around 5 or
Hmm.
6 years now. And I mean, we were in different
Wow, time
projects and
flies.
different bands. Yeah, no, too much. It's way too fast. It's it's ridiculous how fast time goes. And I mean, when we met, I was in another band that shall not be named, and you guys, you guys were two in another band together, no?
Yeah, we were.
Yep. Yeah, we were.
I mean, I guess we
And
could talk about that band per se, because since it's
I mean,
not an entity that's, I think, owned by anybody, because it just stayed there floating
yeah,
by what happened. But it was overall, it was really a good experience overall. At least for me, it was a really good introductory uh, series for me, as in like in the as a musician, as partaking in a band as well as like understanding what composes a band, and the dynamics between them, and how it is actually, and you know what, better said, how tough is that it actually is to handle yourself on the road. Because I had this conception at first, like, of how what's it gonna be. I wasn't expecting it to be that simple,
you never
but I
are.
also wasn't. But at the same time, I wasn't expecting it to be that punishing, especially,
Yeah.
especially by the people. You know, people are very very difficult to please sometimes.
Oh yeah, and I mean, doing like an original band, which is what you were doing before,
Hmm.
is a lot. I would say, kind of. Uh, I want to say easier, but it's not easier because it's not. But the people are usually like, if people are gonna see your band for your live music, I mean they should know that it's your live music, so it's your music and your original compositions.
Yep.
So I mean, there's that. But I believe that it's, to me it's kind of a worse experience doing like a cover band because people are harder to please then because they want specific songs by specific artists and they think you're kind of a radio player when you're a band and you have a specific set and whatnot, and you try to get the songs for the people and the songs that the people like, but there's always someone that's not going to be happy with what you're playing. So
Of
to
course.
me, I honestly hate and I mean I've been doing it for a while now, professional, like when the world was open and everything used to happen.
The world is
uh,
open.
yeah, I used to play in different cover bands, and I mean, I honestly, if there's something that I hate is playing in a cover band. I mean, the people are harder to please then. I mean, at least my experience in playing with original bands. So in the other bands that I've been that have played original music, besides the band I used to play with a friend of mine that he's a singer songwriter, and we played his original music. and then with another friend of mine that I've played, that's another singer-songwriter. People are usually more accepting towards that sort of music because I mean they know that your music is original, so they know that they're supposed to expect something different instead of a cover band. They're expecting to hear the top 40s, and if you don't have the top 37 song, they're gonna get pissed because you don't know the whole top 40 and their favorite songs that they've heard since they were little, which is I mean absurd, but I mean that's
You
sort of
know, I actually have a. I can agree and I understand where you're coming from, but I kind of have a small, what you call it, like not. It's like a different opinion about it, and I'm talking about as both a person who's played in cover songs before and as a person who's been in a crowd. So I actually find it to, in my perspective, like I found as that the crowd is more accepting of cover bands rather than original bands, at least here and what I've gone through. Because
okay.
for instance, like I've in my experience, I've seen like shows where most of the bands are just original bands. Nobody's expecting a cover band about, let's say, something that's been heard of 1,000 times here, a Bon Jovi band
Mhm.
or Avenged Sevenfold cover band, whatever. I've seen those events get completely packed like stupid. Like there was this one Avenged Sevenfold show in this what was this bar again? I forgot. Robert. Uh,
Dude, I haven't been to a show in a long time. I don't
yes,
even
I haven't been in a
remember.
while. I even forgot the names of the fucking
Siete.
place. No, no. Well, I mean, it's been there
La
before, but
Respuesta.
no, no, the other one. That's like,
Handlebar.
thank you, Handlebar.
Okay.
Okay.
So, Handlebar is very recognized for having a lot of cover bands,
Mhm.
and usually it gets packed. But that Avenged Sevenfold cover band was insane, and just as the one in La Respuesta, which was a System of a Down, it was
I
completely
remember
packed.
that
And
one.
then when I get to attend shows from people with original songs, original bands, it's moderate to barely any people.
I mean, there's usually
And
okay. So yeah, there's usually less people in original shows than cover bands. But I mean, it's interesting that you say that because I mean we're in Puerto Rico, and for anyone that's listening to this, we are a band based in Puerto Rico, but we are from different parts. Like me and Ate are from the west side, and then AJ, Robert, and Pete are from the east side. So it's interesting that you're saying this because we can notice, like I mean, at least I and Ate notice a huge difference in what you're explaining to us than what we have lived over here. Like the whole aspect of like everything that you've just mentioned is literally characteristic to San Juan and over there. Then over here, I mean, we don't get like what you're mentioning are tribute bands. So tribute bands are cover bands, but it's kind of different because
tribute,
it pays
yeah,
more.
that was the
Tribute.
correct
Yeah,
term. Yeah.
so they pay more usually,
Yeah,
and I
a
mean you
lot
play
more.
specific songs from a specific artist. So you're not playing like top 40, for example, like cover bands do over here in the west side. So I mean tributes is sort of a different kind of gig, I would say, because you're being paid to play that specific set. And I mean, it's sort of it's interesting that you're saying that because we don't see that a lot over here in the west side. We don't see the many tribute, or at least we didn't see many tribute shows. We just
Now that you mentioned that, I kind of vaguely remember talking about this with someone else, and they specifically mentioned that very same thing, that on the west side, not cover bands, sorry, original bands are actually more supported on the west side rather than the east side. And I actually can vouch for that because I remember playing a couple of times when we got to play a couple of times. Actually, I remember playing at Hydra. I actually felt more support over there than other times over
I
here.
mean, okay, so that particular show, I have a little bit of beef with that because that particular show
I
got.
think we all
I
do.
mean, see, pero that particular show got full because there were a lot of haters that hated on the band that me and Ade used to be at. So there were.
But
I mean,
I
no,
did
that's
not
another
play
story.
for
no, you didn't play that
at that
no.
time.
No, we had another drummer, right?
Yeah.
That was before you
Ooh, that
got
was
in there.
that was a
Yeah,
big
yeah,
The big
yeah.
dude,
Ooh,
yeah.
that
Yeah,
guy.
yeah, that was.
I like
really
him. He was a cool guy.
Yeah, no, he's great. He's
I
great.
miss him.
So we were playing that show with him, and I mean, when we started out with that other band, everyone, pretty much everyone, in the music scene over here hated us and hated our guts. So that show.
There's a backstory to that. That
Yeah,
it's not
that
because
we
of nothing,
may
but
get into that in another episode, but today it's too late to get into that, and I do not
It's
want
too
to
late.
get.
It's an introduction, so we're not
And
expecting
I'm
to get
sober. I
too deep in it.
yeah, I cannot. Yeah.
but
So,
yeah, going back to what
So,
we
yeah,
were
so
talking
going
about.
back to before that. So
It's weird because I actually play for a cover band, but not a tribute band. We make cover of pop songs and even reggaeton, salsa, and I really think it's that the response of the people is it depends on where are you playing, because we normally play on like bars and things like that and pubs, and people go there just to they're not going to see the band, they're going to have a good time, drink a
Mhm.
few beers, and and they act a lot differently than what you guys were talking about.
mhm.
The drama.
Normally you see people dancing and singing. They even come to the stage, if there's even a stage, and sing a song.
If there's a
th-
stage, I like that.
yeah, yeah, literally.
There
Like
is a
basically,
stage.
Yeah,
And
sometimes you're
there's
just gonna play in the ground or near the
Yeah,
bathroom.
yeah.
Or
We've
near-
had. I think
And-
we all had
I
our
mean-
fair share of playing on the ground.
yeah.
I remember.
So
this
yeah,
one
it's
time
it's
just
it's
did that.
very
I don't know.
different. It depending on where you're playing, and exactly like the if you're playing in a bar, or it just depends on.
See, yeah, that's yeah. Over here in the west side though, we have like a lot of places are usually that type of crowd. Like people are usually
Yeah.
expecting bands to play that type of music. You know,
Yeah,
they just
that's
they
that's
don't
what
care.
you see the most over
Yeah.
here at the west. It's that, and it pays fairly well. It depends on the specific
And who you're playing with.
and who you're
It
playing with.
depends
yeah.
on who you're playing with.
But
Because I mean,
it's a market that moves a lot and moves a lot
yeah.
of money, because it all the time they're looking for those types of band, because those are the ones that you just go and you have a good time, and that's
Yeah,
it. you
Yeah,
know?
that's what gets the people going. When it
Yeah,
comes
they're
to like
not-
that
Yeah.
sort of location, as he said, they just go to have fun. You're hammered.
Yeah.
You're just, you met this chick. You want to have fun. You're not really paying attention to the band. You just want to get a couple of drinks, have some fun. Then suddenly these guys show up and they're playing a freaking good song you love, and it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, awesome.
yeah,
So,
yeah. So I
I
mean,
guess it depends on the location.
it's yeah, it's. I mean, here in Puerto Rico, we don't have that much of a like. I mean, there
Not that many
is a
venues.
yeah, we don't have that many venues for original stuff, but I mean the ones that did exist like sometimes got packed in with a few different bands. Like there's a few different bands, which is interesting enough because I mean like I know a few bands from Puerto Rico that have like a cult following. Like for example, Campo Formio, they have like a really huge following, and
yes.
they're it's like a really underground, but kind of like a lot of people know who they are. But they have like a cult following to them. There's a few other bands and a few other artists. I remember in Indigo back in the a few years back that they also had a cult following over here that people went to see their shows for their music and what they did. I mean, I used to love their shows and I went to a few, and I mean a few different bands kind of have that cult following, but usually these bands that we're talking about have to kind of get out of Puerto Rico first before getting that cult following. Like usually original bands here, they do not get a cult following or any type of following at all.
Yeah.
If not for hate, like my past experience, which we're gonna talk later on another episode.
Yeah, there's a lot of
Yeah, there's a lot of hate, and I mean, it's fun because I mean, usually those people that hated on us, they went to see if we were actually good. Like if we were bad, they were gonna mop the floor with us. But since they actually saw that we were, I mean, that we had solid music and we were a solid band, they usually left with a really fun face to look at because they were usually like poker faced, but like in a oh like damn, I was supposed to be here to make fun of these guys, but they're actually pretty
Turned out to be
good.
pretty good.
Yeah, so I mean we got to see that a bunch of times, but I mean either
FYI,
people hate you-
we're not talking about Koi the Great. we're
Yeah,
just
no, it's
starting.
a
We haven't
No.
even played a
Past
live show
experiences.
yet. So
yeah.
We
Because
haven't done anything
we
yet
started
live,
in
and that's okay.
quarantine, COVID quarantine. But so I mean, usually bands get followed by hate or because you actually did something. And I mean, with the other band that we used to have, we actually got to tour the United States and actually went to a few places to play, which was a really cool experience. But definitely not as much peaches and flowers as everyone thinks. Like touring is actually one hell of a ride, but in a mixed feeling sort of way. Like I honestly, when we got back, I was missing the whole tour life, but it's so tiring. And I mean, if AJ was here, it would be fun to actually hear him talk about this,
Oh,
because
I'm pretty
he.
sure
oh
that
no,
70 to 80% of what he's gonna say is is just gonna be
no, dude,
complaining.
yeah, I'm pretty sure, because I mean, starting with the first day that we got there. When we were getting into where was it? New Jersey? I
New
think New
Jersey, yeah.
Jersey. Yeah, I don't like. At least the places that we went, I did not like them. Anyways, we got to New Jersey around 5 to 6 hours later than when we should have gotten there, and we hadn't eaten almost
Yikes.
anything. Like I remember packing a lot of snacks just because I had like a weird feeling that I should take food, and I had
Good
food for
call.
everyone. Yeah, I had food for everyone because we actually didn't get a chance to eat. We got into three different planes, and the three different planes got us kicked out because the plane had something wrong, and then it was raining, and then it was
I didn't
a
know that.
thunderstorm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Well, it
then
was
when we actually got to New Jersey, what were you gonna say?
no, it was a disaster, literally.
Oh yeah, yeah, dude. So we got into like three different planes and then got out. Then one of the of the
By the
pilots, one of the pilots was
By the way,
actually
guys, remind me not to stand up because I'm in my
Oh,
trousers. Okay.
right. Yeah, yeah. You're not
So
supposed
this
to
is
stand
all
up,
I
right,
got, all right?
Right. Okay, so yeah.
Y'all don't want to see
trouser
that.
pics.
Okay, sorry
No.
to interrupting. Continue.
So the pilot was actually like 4 hours overdue from his shift. Like he was supposed to get out of the shift 4 hours before, driving that plane
Yeah.
and whatnot. Uh, so I mean, then we got kicked out and whatnot, and then when we finally got to New Jersey, like stepping out of the airport, there was this like van coming at us. They had around, I don't know, 70 miles per hour, and we almost ran over. Like literally the moment that we got the car out, like it was he. I mean, he ran over a red light. And I mean, it was crazy. And then when we actually got to, like, before getting to the hotel was around an hour and a half of a distance from the airport, and we actually had to go to like,
Damn.
yeah, so we had to go to a Walmart to get some water and whatnot because it was like really late. And AJ was pale. Like if you would have seen AJ.
He looked
he
like a zombie.
no,
He said I can just
he
imagine.
looked like a zombie meeting some sort of specter. So he was just like, in essence, I think he was there, but he wasn't there.
A definition
so,
of a glow stick.
Oh yeah, dude. No, definitely. It was crazy. So AJ had like a few rough days. Like in that first night was horrible for him, and then we started to get some vitamins and some water, and then we bought a lot of different snacks and whatnot. So we were sort of better, but AJ spent like the first 2 or 3 days just all messed up with his stomach, just
Yeah, he
uh,
gets out of whack when you throw him off his schedule.
Yeah, but
especially
that day,
too when it
no,
comes to
dude, but
sleeping
that
and stuff
day,
like that. It really
that
throws him
day,
off like bad.
that day was horrible. When we got there, in fact, when we got there, like we were using Avid racks, 11 racks for our guitar playing.
Yeah.
When they got it off of the airport, it was all open and the cables were all falling down and everything.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when we actually got it, the one of the Avid racks had something happened to it in the airplane, in the airplane with one of the workers.
I
there that
doubt it was
opened
in the airplane.
No, yeah, someone opened it. So someone opened
Yeah.
it and just tracked it up a little bit, and then one of the little LED, the LED little panels that they have just wouldn't turn on, and we were like panicking because we didn't know what we had to do. That and actually that 11 rec in particular was Victor's, who was working with us in that tour.
Yeah, I remember that.
And when he got it, he actually got it for the full price that it ran back in the day. So that thing ran for around 1 to 2K. And I mean now it's
Wow.
like $300 or $400 depending on where you get it and when you buy it. But I mean when he got it, he actually got it for that price. So I mean imagine getting that piece of gear, just thrown all over the ground in the fucking
Damn.
airport.
Sounds like a fun time.
Yeah, no, dude, it was. I mean, hey, we got to play a few cool shows. Definitely not the first show that we played. The first show was incredibly. It went incredibly sideways. It was.
I mean,
just,
the thing is that I guess you guys went with some sort of like expectations of how it would be and where you're
Yeah.
gonna be going. Probably it's gonna be peaches and cream. Like
Oh,
you get
no,
yourself on a van and then you guys just drive off.
I mean,
get to the hotel.
honestly, honestly, not that much. But I mean, we were supposed to, like, I mean, it was sort of like fault of the booker that we had because I'm not gonna go too in depth because I get mad at what happened in that whole moment. But like the booker actually like talked some weird stuff to the booker over there, to the agents over there in the States, and the shows that she got us were like half of them were
Questionable.
yeah, like a few of them were really questionable. Like we played one
How so?
in South Carolina. Oh, okay, so the first one that we played was
I love how he said it. So I got into details and it was like, how so? Okay.
So I mean, this is cool. This is a cool topic because this is something that I mean we don't experience much, and once you do, you start to look at like I mean I think that this in particular was why I decided to like pursue music business. I mean I have a minor on it, and I'm trying to maybe keep like studying it by myself and then do a few things with that for our band and whatnot. But I mean that's kind of one of the reasons why I decided to like do this whole music marketing thing because I mean everything that happened over there was definitely an eye opener. So the first show that we played was actually a 4th of July in the Jersey Shore. So it was packed. Like there were so many people. It was incredible. Pero
Did you get to play for Snooki?
yeah, I mean there were a lot of snooky looking persons. But
The
I mean
snooky-looking girls.
so we played in this little Eddie's, was it called? I'm not sure
I don't
what it was.
remember.
Eddie's bar.
It's-
Eddie's.
I remember seeing a picture, and I'm not sure if it was that. AJ posted a picture, and it
Yeah.
was like this Broadway kind of looking thing.
Yeah. So it looked pretty
So
cool,
that must have been
right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
from outside
so-
it looks pretty cool.
Yeah, but when you were inside, it was kind of a crap show because, so apparently the lines and the stuff that they had to the monitors weren't working as they should. Like they were saying that, oh no, it works, it does work. And when we connected everything, like the sound would cut off between the playing. So we would start playing this song, and I mean we would hear half of the song, then half of the song would just disappear into the nothing. And then a lot of people were coming into the bar and they saw what we were playing and some liked it and then the other ones were like I was not expecting that. Like they were probably expecting like a cover band, like what we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
They were definitely a cover band audience. They were not an original music audience, and especially in the 4th of July as it may have been, because I mean we were a band that was not known to that area. Like the whole marketing aspect behind that, the team that we had just went to shit, and it wasn't actually worked the way that it should have been. Like
Shit
it
hit the fan.
yeah, no, dude, it was not promoted the way that it should be. At least the music, and for getting people hyped up like you should and whatnot. So I mean, people would just like go in and they saw what we were playing. We were not playing covers, so they would ask us for one or two songs. We actually played 2 covers, one from Panic at the Disco and then one from Fall Out Boy. And then for those, people actually liked those. But then our music, they were like, can you play more
Okay.
covers?
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, because
I
that
heard enough.
audience, that audience was not expecting music that they didn't know. In fact, after that, we went to, was it Virginia that we played next after that? Or no, we played another song. Another place. I'm not sure. We played another place. Then when we went to Virginia, it was great. Like people there loved our set. We played with a few bands over there, and people loved the set because it was a bar for original music. Like the audience that was expected to be there liked the original music, and they bought a few shirts, they bought a few CDs, and a few guys came up
That's
to us,
great.
and yeah, they came up to us like saying, "Oh, we love your band. We can relate to the music and whatnot." So we had a really good experience and a really good time in Virginia. We met a lot of really cool people over there. And I mean, we had a few good shows. Then we also played in Michigan for From Ashes to New, which we also have one cool story about that I just remembered.
I was about to ask about that.
Yeah,
show.
so that show was amazing. That show was one of the coolest shows that we've played. But honestly, and I'm not kidding when I say this, I was scared for my life because there were these. So Victor was working with us there, right? And then
Okay.
he went out to get something in the van, and then he saw this guy coming into the club with a gun. Just cocked up gun, and he was just going into this club and whatnot. And when he saw Victor, he went to the other side, got into a black van, and then just drove off. So then it was So this was we were opening from Ashes to New before they went on this big
I mean, if
tour.
I were to see Victor, I would jump in a black van and
I
get
mean,
the fuck out of it too.
Yeah, but I mean, just
No
the
offense,
fact.
Victor. You're
No, right.
awesome.
Yeah, but the intention behind the guy was different
Obviously,
dynamic.
yeah.
So
I
then
know.
that guy they didn't actually leave. They were two, and they didn't actually leave. They just went down the block, and then they came back, and they were roaming around just seeing where they could get out. Then the guy came out for the second time. Then one of the other crew members of our band, they were definitely not looking for us. They were definitely looking for someone else. One of our crew members went out and then saw this guy with the same whole thing, and he just saw the guy and just put the gun in his pockets and left again. But I mean, they still kind of stayed near the place where we were playing. Maybe they were
So
looking
they were
for
still like
someone.
cruising by.
Oh yeah, and I mean, we were really scared, honestly, because I mean, these guys were all loaded up and they were ready, to do some crazy shit. But I mean, other than that, the show was great. We made a few friends and a few, fans for of that band that we had, and I mean, it was packed. It was like to around 200 people or some stuff like that, and a lot of people really liked the music. We got a few fans from that, but it was a really great experience. Other than someone was, about to get murdered and didn't, thanks to our crew going out and so that was kind of really horrible. But I mean, the show was great. Everything went really good.
That's good.
Yeah, but I mean, we had a few different experiences over there that were not what you would portray to be, or what you would think that the whole touring aspect would be like. We had a few shows that were. I'm pretty sure that the show that we played in South Carolina, I'm pretty sure there was someone pimping some shit out in the back. I'm pretty sure.
What do you mean? What do you mean pimping? Like,
Please
I
do
mean,
tell.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if Ate remembers this, but when we were playing there, there was this back door that had like some green lights and whatnot, and had like a big, huge guy, like a huge bouncer, just like a 7-foot guy, a really tough guy, and we was letting certain people go in. And then like a few of the people that came out were actually, how do I say this? All coked up. So I mean, there was some weird shit going on in the back, and then
some snorting going on.
oh yeah, dude, there was some really weird stuff going
All
on
kinds
there.
of snorting action.
All kinds.
All kinds.
Oh no, dude. And then we had these like the guys that were right in front of us were like really, really butt-faced drunk, and they were just saying all sorts of weird stuff. And then one of them wouldn't keep his eyes off of any of us. He was just like staring, but with a really weird look. And then when we stopped playing, he would get like really, like he wanted us to keep playing, but the way that he was supporting our music was like in a really weird and menacing way. Like he was just staring at us and just going all at it and just like screaming. And it was really weird.
When you guys stopped, what did he do?
So actually he was calling to me. So he spent like a while calling to me, and I was like, trying not to, be obvious about the fact that I was really scared. So when I actually
imagine Franco plays like, don't look to the right, don't look to the right.
no, dude, it was oh, dude, that's literally how it felt. And then when I actually got the balls to go down there, He said, "Oh, I love that song that you did, and I love your set, and I love that Stone Temple Pilot song that you did. It brought me back to when I was a kid and whatnot." So I mean, he said a few nice things, but the way that he did was like really menacing. Like he was really drunk, and you could tell that if you had said something weird, or he would just have lost it and whatnot. So we were all really scared in that show. And I mean, a few funny things happened there and whatnot. But yeah, it's. I mean, that's sort of what touring was like. I mean, for us over there, then we played a few other really good shows. We played a show in Florida that was really good, and we met a few different people, really really cool guys and whatnot. And I mean, we got paid in hot dogs. No,
In
we
hot
got
dogs.
no, we got paid. We got paid, but then they paid a few, like they gave us money for like usually over there in the
Yeah.
States, and in some places here in Puerto Rico will pay you, and they will give you like some sort of like I would say like some cash for food, but it's not money. It's just, oh, you can eat this quantity here. Like it doesn't happen that much here in Puerto Rico, but there's a few places that they pay you, and besides paying you, they say, oh, you can have anything from the menu as long as you don't exceed $100 or some shit like that. So that happens in some places here, not many places.
I can top you off with one. I remember going to this place and they said, like in a previous project.
Hmm.
I remember just going there and the first thing the owner said was, "Well, you know what? We don't have cash to pay you. We appreciate you being here." And I'm trying to remember exactly what he said, but I can't. But I'm gonna try to say that how it is. And then he said, "Well, we can pay you in beer." So I was already expecting, okay, so I'm expecting an open bar. That's fine. He said, "We can pay you in beer, but you can't do more than 6." And I'm like, "Do you realize we're 5?"
6 for each
Are
one,
you
or
looking-
6 for the whole band?
No, 6 for the whole band. The guy
that's-
would not go more than 6. And I, at first, like in the first 5 seconds, I thought he was actually implying what you said, that it was just like maybe six packs, and I was like, that should be enough. But then when I think it was one of the other guys, he was like asking, and then he mentioned there like, no, it's just gonna be like 6 beers, and I'm like, are you what? You're telling me? It's like, have you seen what we have here? It's like, and it's insane, It's not the first time we actually get like that. And I'm sorry, I interrupted you, so keep on going.
No, yeah, I love this. I love this. I mean, thankfully, and I mean, I really mean this. Thankfully, I haven't gotten I haven't had that experience. Like, I've been lucky enough to from the start of me gigging, I've been getting paid. There's a few shows that I haven't gotten what I wanted to get, but I mean, I would get at least some of or somewhere near what I wanted to. Like, I've been lucky enough to always gig and get paid well. And then
I'm glad you didn't have to work for a beer.
yeah, definitely. However, some of the places, like I did play in one place over there in San Juan with one of the singer-songwriters I was talking about earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And that show that we did, the guy didn't the owner of the place was horrible to work. He was accusing me of stealing some of his cables and whatnot.
Where was this?
And
Or do you want to keep it unnamed?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It should not
Alright.
be named, just in case.
Okay, okay.
So
Text it to me later.
yeah, I will. So I was playing this. Yeah, he was accusing me of not bringing my own lines and whatnot. That being said, my lines are custom lines, custom cables. Like the cables that I have, if maybe, I'm sorry, like 100 people have those sorts of cables over here in Puerto Rico, I would say it's a lot. I'm pretty sure that there's a lot of less people that own this sort of cable.
Okay.
So he was saying that I was stealing his cables, and he was using a whole different brand because I saw those cables that he was using. And then after we finished our show, he did this whole covered thing and whatnot, and he was asking us to go up there and play with him, and I was like, yeah, you know what, I don't feel like playing anymore because this is not my job. You already, we played what we were gonna get paid for, so I'm not gonna. I'll hit you up on that. I'm gonna get back on you.
Rain check.
And then I took a rain check, and then I just what like we didn't get paid what I expected to get paid. I got paid like $20 less than what I actually usually do for that kind of gig, and so we actually got an open bar. So I just went in, and I got like I don't know 6 Jack Daniel's shot. I got like 2 beers. I ate like 2 hamburgers. It was like, and then that was just me. And then the other guys did the same thing. Like everyone got like a shit ton of food. And I'm pretty sure that in some point, like the bartender was kind of pissed at us because I mean we were ordering a lot, and it was all on a tab because they didn't put a limit or a cap on the.
I mean,
on the tab.
I wouldn't care. I would actually just jump into it. I mean, it's not about being considerate. It's like if you're not paying me well, and you leave an open tab, I'm gonna milk you.
Yeah,
Okay? I
mean,
don't care. It's like you
yeah,
made me
it's-
play to a bunch of drunk people here that probably didn't give a crap. So I'm gonna milk this.
I mean, that gig was actually for us. It was pretty fun. Like the music that we played, the audience kind of liked it a lot. Because I mean, it's sort of like pop rock, but in both Spanish and English. But it was
Okay.
it's like really like a really charismatic presence and whatnot. So. The music that we played was really, really well received, but I mean, just the fact that this owner was kind of disrespecting me like that, I said, you know what, I'm gonna eat everything that I can and drink everything that I can just to, get paid what I'm supposed to be paid. And
Yeah.
besides that, just because you're an a-hole and you're not treating us well, you're accusing us of stealing your shit when we're not stealing your shit. So then
do you
we
guys
got a lot
consider?
of food.
Sorry about that. I was just gonna ask, like, you guys consider that in that experience, wasate in that part?
No,
Playing
no,
no, not yet.
it was no,
You
because
consider that was
this wasn't
that
that
was
band.
a different band.
This was me with a singer-songwriter that I played over there in San Juan.
Oh, okay. I thought it had to do with
Yeah, no,
like,
no,
that band.
it's a
Okay, okay.
no, it's
I,
a whole.
I
different
did play with them, but
Yeah, he actually-
at a TV show, but it
Yeah.
wasn't.
A TV show.
Yeah, we got
Which
to
one?
play like a one here in Peru. We played a few.
It was for San Valentine's Day.
Yeah, we played a Valentine's Day special in WIPR.
I don't remember.
Doro IPR.
Yeah, it's
Valentine's
like a.
special.
I don't think it was that, but
See,
But-
yeah. I think it was WIPR. Pretty sure it was. So we played with him. I played a few different TV shows, but that one in particular, I think it was WIPR, in a Valentine's Day special. Yeah, which I mean was pretty fun. It was pretty cool.
yeah.
It was-
the I had to laugh so hard because the bassist we weren't playing
Yeah, we were mimicking.
live.
yeah.
Yeah. So the bassist was doing like he was playing, and I'm playing here the drums, and one time I look for him, and when I see his bass, his line is just hanging. It wasn't even connected, and it was hanging just in there. And when we finished the song, because we played like two or
Wait, so we
three
played
songs
the-
for that.
We played the
Three
entire
songs,
song
three songs.
without being connected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
So-
imagine it's like something
Yeah, that-
doesn't sound right.
Yeah.
2 minutes.
And I mean, there were close-ups and everything. It was hilarious. Like there were a lot of close-ups on the TV special. Oh my god, yeah.
And
It was hilarious.
the funny thing is that he's like a real good bass player, and he's like a very good musician, but I don't know how the hell he didn't come to
Yeah.
realize that he did not connect
Yeah.
his line.
I mean, it's fun. It's mimicking what you play live. It's a really different experience. Like I remember, Alex was actually making fun of the fact that I played on and I put the distortion on like half a chorus after I should have. Like I was playing and I was making as if I was pressing on the pedals and whatnot, and then I forgot to press on the distortion for this part, and then I was playing with distortion without stepping on the pedal. So I stepped on the pedal like a whole chorus after that, and then he was just making fun of me, because I was mimicking what I was playing. Said, oh yeah, that guitar sounded great. I don't know how you made it sound with distortion without pedals and without an amp and without everything. I was like, oh,
It's
well,
like, yeah.
you kind of got me there.
All me.
Yeah. Yeah, and actually,
Yeah.
I since I wasn't the like the original guitarist for that particular song, I hadn't recorded that song, and I do know that the guitarist, the original guitarist for that, actually was kind of making fun of the fact that I was playing something else. So I mean, yeah, a few people noticed, but who gives a shit? You're just playing a show. I mean, if
Yeah,
you're
I
not,
mean, shit happens.
Just put
you're
on a
not
show.
playing.
We sang a song right there that was it was something like that about just put on a show.
Yeah,
Just to put on a show, it's like
yeah,
Hey,
that.
something like
B,
yeah,
do
yeah.
you
It was
remember that one venue that the power was off and everything, and it was just a whole shit show? That
We
turns out that the guy wasn't
back
even
in
the
Breakem,
owner of the venue.
back in Breakem, we had a lot of bad gigs, so you gotta be more specific. Okay.
Okay, in Rio
It didn't.
Piedras.
Rio Piedras.
Yeah, it turns
It
out that the
didn't.
guy wasn't even the owner of the venue, but somehow he had the keys.
okay.
I feel
What's
like I kind of remember this. Like I
that
have
sounds
this
like
funny
He
tickle.
was
It's like you've been there, man. You remember? Damn.
he was always saying that he was gonna fix a lot of stuff over there, and
Wait,
that
wasn't
never
that
got
the
fixed.
guy that was like he lived in a? No, he didn't live.
I
My
think
bad.
I
I mean, he
remember.
probably did live there.
I think we played that show with you guys.
No, no. I think he's talking
No.
about. Okay, because I remember there was this one venue, and I actually was not a member of Breaking Kid by then. I remember going to a couple of your shows, because I remember that you did a show on the first floor that was like next to like a sushi bar, I think.
Uh-huh. Yep,
And
exactly
I
that
remember
one.
going to that one before being a member, and then I remember you guys playing on the second floor, which is like this huge space. And I remember
The
you guys did like a
second
cover.
floor.
I'm not sure if it was like a cover show or if it was like. And I remember that. Yeah, now I remember who you're talking about. And but did he get like arrested or something?
I
Like
don't
the
know.
cops got in. I remember hearing about that. Like the cops got in there because he was operating like without a lot of permits. Like he was. Let's put it this way: he was permitless, but somehow he was there for a long time. The cops got in there. They scooched him out. They took him, took him into custody, and ever since then, it's been closed.
Well, yeah, the last thing I heard is that he wasn't even the owner,
That's awesome.
but he had the keys.
But I don't think that was like the worst gig that we've ever had. We've had
I
a
don't know,
couple
it
of
was
bad
a shit show
gigs.
because I remember that the power was out, then it came back, and then
Oh.
it again.
I mean, I just love the fact that this guy is not the owner and he just has the keys. He's just acting
No,
like he's
it's
the owner
not.
of the place.
You know,
I
it's
love
like as
that.
if it's as if like somebody was staying in your house. You're not around. You're probably somewhere in the other part of the world, and then he decides to throw a party in your house. Like, yeah, this is my house. Let's have a
Yeah,
party. Let's
I
have
love
fun.
that, yeah.
So he just bangs everything, destroys everything, and then like the cops show him. It's like, guys, this ain't my house. I don't know what you're talking about.
I think
This ain't
we
my
should
party.
we could call this section "Memoirs of an Original Band" or some shit. Because I mean,
Well.
this is awesome. I love the fact that we have all of these crazy experiences, and I mean, that's part of what being in a band is actually like. Hopefully, with this whole COVID thing, when it ends, I'm thinking that this actually may change for the better. Like the whole world, since I mean we haven't had live music for a while now, and I mean the few bands that are doing live music are cover bands, and it's like a really strict, sort of thing now in the
A lot
few
of
venues.
restrictions.
Yeah, a few in the few restaurants are open and have cover bands. So I'm hoping that maybe after this all, the whole industry, since I'm pretty sure that there's going to be a lot of money back in there, I'm pretty sure that it's going to be sort of better, and maybe the shows are going to sort of be a little bit better, because I mean a lot of places or a lot of venues have been have had to kind of close down, and I mean here in Puerto Rico too, some of the like low tier sort of venues have had to kind of close their operations and whatnot, and the few ones that are still working are sort of some of the good ones over here, like for example La Respuesta has actually changed their whole aspect of the way that they work, and now they're doing like a La Respuesta live or online or some stuff like that, and they're
Okay.
having like different bands have a show over there, and they're being sponsored by Micheo, and they're making this
Oh, that's
whole
nice.
yeah they're making these live concerts on the internet, and they have a lot of different camera angles and whatnot, which actually look pretty awesome. Like I respect the fact that they've kind of changed it up a lot now, and it's more of a like it's La Respuesta to me has always been the one venue, the one kind of original band venue here in Puerto Rico, at least in the east side. I'm sorry, that is closest to the way that things work over there in the states. Like the way that they work is actually pretty darn similar to the way that everything works over there in the states, and I like the way that they do that. Like I love the way that they actually work and actually have the gear supposed to be had for this sort of band and for this sort of show, and they're now
Mhm.
doing it live on the internet and whatnot, which is pretty awesome. Honestly, that's something that we had been needing here in Puerto Rico for a while, and I mean it's not as if there's many shows because I mean we're in COVID, so I'm guessing that maybe when all of this is over, maybe we're gonna get like some uh, really cool shows over here in Puerto Rico,
Yeah.
uh, with all of this just being back to normal and a lot of people just wanting to blow off some steam in different places. But yeah, it's it's a pretty interesting conversation. That I mean, I'm pretty sure that we're gonna like talk a lot more in other episodes of our this podcast, Koicast, whatever you want to call this.
Which it was supposed to be an introduction. I'm not sure where it went.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
not
don't know
sure.
either.
I'm not entirely
We
sure.
didn't even talk about Koi, but
I mean,
that's
it was
okay, I
fun.
guess.
It was fun.
Yeah.
So, if anyone here made it this far, I'm guessing in the next ones we're gonna be talking a little bit more about what Koithegreat is, what we're doing. We actually have a little bit of time that we can talk a little bit about it if you guys are into it. Uh, but the next few episodes are definitely gonna be like more on depth on what we're doing right now. We're maybe gonna break down some songs and talk about the song lyrics, uh, what how we went to the whole writing process, to the whole working as an actual band during quarantine. Like I mean, most of the first songs that were brought to the table, I have been writing since around 2-3 years ago, and now is the time that I've actually been able to put it out with someone and actually work it. And then I got this few you know this whole bunch of songs and I brought them to these guys, and then all of them have been working on their different parts, and like everything sounds so much better than I thought, and so much better than I intended for it to sound. So we're gonna be breaking down songs. We're gonna be talking more about the business side and what we're going through, to get this band out there, especially during this whole quarantine thing and this whole social distancing, which is something that's pretty different and something that's pretty new to, every band that's definitely starting out now, and every band that's still a band, because a lot of bands have actually broken up since the whole COVID thing.
Actually, since I remember it started around Maria.
Ah,
I was like,
Ever since Maria, there was a lot
yeah,
of stuff
here
happening.
a lot of bands just
that is true. That is true. Yeah, a lot of bands here in Puerto Rico kind of broke up after Hurricane Maria. A lot of people just left Puerto Rico and just left to somewhere else to be able
Yep.
to live. Because we were around 6 months without light. At least I in my house I didn't get light until like February of the year after that. So that happened in September, and we spent September, October, November, December, and January without any electricity over here.
I think I got into like um, January, I think, without power.
wow.
Yeah.
We got
Yeah.
out in 2 months.
Well.
Good for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
You make it sound like 2 months is like just a
It
little
sounds
bit
so
of
bad.
time without electricity,
compared
but
to you guys,
for what it really happened here with our electricity system, I don't know how the hell to call
The
it.
power
The
grid, power grid.
AEE. Yeah.
A clusterfuck. That's what it's
Yeah,
called.
yeah, and it still is. But
still is.
hey, it's Puerto
Yeah, it
Rico,
still
so yeah.
Welcome to Puerto Rico.
Yeah,
Everything is a clusterfuck.
Yeah. But that's a conversation for some
For
other
another day,
I'm
another
sure
episode.
other podcasts are talking about that. We're just gonna talk more about band stuff. But yeah, a lot of bands broke up after that.
Maria bad. That's all you need to know.
Yeah, that's all. Yeah, Maria equals bad. Yeah. So we're gonna be talking about all sorts of things here. I'm planning on doing some different interviews with different people that we've been working with For example, Mimi, who was the designer or is the designer of our shirts and our merch, and then Jamie, who's
which
a
they look pretty dope.
videographer. Yeah, they look awesome. We're gonna
Yeah, they're dope.
link them down below. I don't know how podcasts work, so we're gonna put them somewhere. If you're interested in that, you can find them on our Bandcamp or over
Mm-hmm.
Instagram and whatnot. Anyhow, I'm gonna be doing a few different interviews, or we're gonna be doing different interviews with Jimmy, who's the guy that's gonna be recording our video. We love how he works. Then Victor as well, because I mean, what a better guy to bring on here than Victor, who's been through all of this with all of us since day one and since around 6-7 years back. Uh, so I mean, we're gonna be talking a lot of stuff and a lot of not so important stuff here. But just
Just like
talking
now.
about just like now. But I
Just like
mean,
what happened now.
but I mean, it's sort of cool because what we were talking about, a lot of different aspects of what being in a band actually isn't about. The different shows and the different experiences that
I
you're
mean,
gonna
what to
get.
expect. It's not
Yeah,
always
that's
peaches and
yeah.
rainbows.
It's definitely not like in the movies. Definitely not like in those Disney Channel movies that you would watch when you were a kid, and everyone was playing this cool ass shows, and then this record
And then
label came,
suddenly,
yeah, and they
hey,
made
hey,
you
we
like,
love you guys. Let's sign you in and
yeah,
make you millions.
it does not work like that. The music industry does not work like that, and I mean. Right now, if you are gonna be a musician overall, and you wanna be a professional musician, and I mean, I'm honestly lucky enough and grateful to be living off of music right now. I'm teaching guitar and whatnot, but I mean, as a band and as a musician, right now there's so much things that you have to do. Like you have to, prepare your own content for the social medias. You have to be
Mm-hmm.
the manager of your social media. You have to be the manager of what you do, what you play, what you do. You have to be your own recorder or video recorder. You have to be your own photographer. You have to sort of do all these certain aspects. You have to work on your website and whatnot. Which I mean, at least the one that I did for myself. I did it myself with my brother. You have to be your own recording engineer, which we are going through that process, recording ourselves in AJ's studio. Luckily, AJ does actually work with that as well. So I mean, his day job is working in the studio, so he
Mm-hmm.
understands all of that way too much. So I mean, luckily, we record ourselves, we produce ourselves. We mix ourselves because AJ is actually mixing
Yeah,
us.
and overall, it's a much better experience when you record yourselves and when you produce yourself. It's
Yeah.
like very relaxed in a sense.
Oh yeah.
Obviously, you have
Definitely
to
more
work
relaxing,
and
yeah.
you have to you have to meet your goals, but it's more relaxing. We're all friends, and it's not like um well, we do have a guy that bosses around, but
Oh, who's that?
but
Yeah, just don't say who's like a.
not
Who's a real name.
not everyone exactly respects him. So
No, you're just being silly now. You're just being silly. I don't know what they're talking about, so I'm just gonna stay out of this.
I'm sure you do.
And
You know what? I want you to take that clip and cut it off, okay? You know what? Just
Yeah, let's
blur
just-
this guy over here
let's just
called
blur-
Ate. You know, just blur it, okay?
Yeah, let's just blur
And
everything
mute him.
everything that he just said. He just got cut off of the show.
You didn't even make it to day one. See, that's what you
yeah.
get.
See, that's what you get. Yeah, for being such a clown.
A lot of people and a lot of our friends joke about how Franco and I we literally um how do I say it?
Fight like a married
With
couple.
words.
Yeah, we
You
fight like a
guys-
married couple.
Yeah,
we,
so
we,
we're
Yes.
we're like Harold and Kumar, or just Latin, or what was the name of the movie? Was it Kevin, the one the mall cop guy? He did a movie where he got married to the other firefighter.
I now pronounce you Chuck and Larry.
Yeah, so we're basically Chuck and Larry,
Chuck and
but
Larry.
Yeah.
yeah. So sort of like that. So we're always fighting, but I mean we're buddies in the end, and
So
Anyways.
whenever I'm around and Franco's around, you're gonna be experiencing that same
Turbulence.
yeah.
Turbulence. I was thinking about the
So-
same thing.
Get used to it.
I
If you're
always hear
going
a
to
lot
be
of penis
around,
talk. I don't know.
What? Hey, hey, what?
How does that work?
What? Yeah, yeah. Let's talk
I think
about
I
soy
remember-
sauce and about other shit.
Somebody say soy sauce.
Yeah.
oh,
He just
I
loves
don't-
the
I
This
sauce.
don't-
video is sponsored and brought to you by
By no soy
Gotti.
sauce. By no one.
that was carry out. Whoops.
It's sponsored by no
just
one.
bleep that out.
And I'm sure no one's gonna want to sponsor this after.
Hey, don't
after
worry.
what
I'll
we're
take,
talking about.
You know what, guys? I'll take a bottle for payment. I don't care. I'll work for it. I worked for a beer. I don't care.
Yeah.
So I'll work for a soy sauce
Apparently.
bottle.
Apparently, Pete's pretty cheap. So
Oh, he
yeah,
is
you'll get
very
him.
cheap.
Okay, so let's move
Just
on.
got personal.
So yeah, so this is
I know
sort
how
of
to
gonna
buy
be
you.
what?
What?
What is going on?
One in the butt.
What?
What?
Anyways,
Okay, so yeah, so that's hopefully sort of an intro to our weird podcast, which is kind of supposed to be called Breaking Down Creators, but I mean Koicast is pretty cool.
I mean, but it's okay, you know.
I'd
as an
rather have
introduction.
it.
I
Actually,
suppose
no,
it's a good-
actually, I like the whole Koicast thing. We may actually end
Yeah.
up calling this Koicast and then just have different sections where we have the breaking down creators, breaking down our songs, just breaking down different stuff, and just call it.
I just
Koicast.
thought about a really nice logo. You can tell Mimi to get the koi fish, but with the headphones on. It's
that's dope.
It'd be pretty cool.
That's dope.
Don't steal my ideas, okay?
That's dope. So I'm gonna have to probably talk to her about that before releasing this. So if you're hearing this and we have that, you may have already seen the logo and what we have. So yeah. So I don't know how do we end this podcast.
this podcast was brought to you by Koi the Great.
That's
Don't do
I mean,
drugs,
we gotta work on that. So let's not make it too awkward. But yeah, we can conclude this podcast by saying thank you for being here. We really appreciate
Yeah.
you guys for taking the time to listen to this. We, as Frank already mentioned, we got tons of stuff coming in. We're gonna be updating you more and more as these things come. You may see some of these faces. Sometimes you may not see them. So if I'm gonna be around, you're gonna miss me. But you got the other guys. You're gonna love them. They're great. They're a great bunch.
And
I
if
love
you're
them.
watching this on YouTube, you may have already, been up to date with our channel. We also do blogs weekly with what we're doing. We, post more content over there. So if you're into that, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube, which is Koithegreat.band. That's how you're gonna find us in every social media. We're not, gonna make a different social media for this podcast or Koicast, as everyone is apparently liking to call it. So we're just gonna be posting all of this podcast things in our own social media, the Koithegreat.band.
Hit that bell, hit that like and subscribe. 'Cause I think that's how they say it on YouTube.
Yeah, just hit the bell and subscribe. Comment down below if you're liking
bell.
it.
And subscribe.
In the case of a podcast, if you're listening to this in the podcast app for Apple, make sure to drop down a review. I guess that's maybe what you drop down there. I'm not entirely sure. This is the first podcast that I ever do and we ever do. So this is kind of popping the podcast
will work
cherry.
on that.
Popping the cast.
Popping the cast.
Podcast.
Yeah, we're popping the cast right now. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And maybe put some music for the outro. We need to get music on this, guys.
Yeah, just put some music on it. But all right, guys, we had a lot of fun. We'll keep coming back and giving more stuff. So stay tuned. All right.
See you guys.
See you later.
Perfect.